Okay, so I don't really want to make this video, but I feel I have to because of the popularity of it, the um, frenzy, both mad and good, that is going on, and the critique of this series, of this new $1 billion, $1 billion worth of material and intellectual property and creativeness and design. So, Rings of Power. I won't call it Lord of the Rings because it's not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings had heart and soul and creativeness and action and fantasy and made us believe that we could do better. I think that when I watch more precisely Return of the King, either when it's Aragorn saying for Frodo, I'm tearing, my eyes are tearing right now just thinking about it. He says for Frodo, just that. It has so much meaning. And if he runs into battle alone and the ones following him are the hobbits and Gandalf and Legolas and Gimli and then the army. So we see all the trenches of who he inspired and who want to save their friends and their loved ones and the whole of Middle Earth, of course. But and that's why this series fell. This first two episodes, and I am ashamed to call them episodes because if there are 8 episodes, as I understand, for the season 1, so we got the first two and there's 6 left. After 2 hours, I don't have anything good to say. I have only bad things to say. Um, of course, it's kind of beautiful to look at, but I mean, with $60 million per episode budget, are you fucking kidding me? The Fellowship of the Rings, the Fellowship, the Two Towers, and Return of the King cost 93 million each. I know we're 20 years later. I know inflation and everything, but still, with $60 million an episode, there are so many moments of just green screen, talking about important things, talking like we are the most important and valued creatures in Middle Earth. And I hate that it revolves around elves and dwarves, and humans are just behind. Like, what the fuck? Humans, yeah, of course, they're there, but we don't really give a fuck. And that's a real flaw. Because if you don't give a fuck about humans, And I understand that we're 1,000 years ago or whatever in Middle Earth, but putting humans on the last straw to pull and to envision and to see and to create and to understand, it's a fucking travesty. It's like you won't you only talk about inclusiveness and diversity and blah blah blah, but the humans are nowhere to be found. It's only elves talking like aristocrats from the 19th century. It's like, well, I've been to the ends of the earth, and I have found this evil lurking inside, and you cannot stop me from speaking my truth because I am Galadriel. Uh, and I saw the warships of Mordor, and rah 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 rah, blah 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 blah. What the fuck? I mean, what the fuck? They speak like aristocrats, and then we go back to hobbits, which they don't, they cannot call hobbits because they don't have the rights to. They call them Harfoots. So okay, do them. I don't know. I don't care what it's called. Just give me good characters. And we have a female. I'm sorry, but it's true. A female Frodo and a female freedom Sam. And of course, with the dum 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 dum. Oh, I'm falling in the mud, and oh, my face is full of mud, and oh, Frodo, Frodo, guide me, guide me. It's like it's a total disrespect. A spit. You just spit on the originals, and you spit on J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't care what you call him. I don't care what wonder and mystery you think you are proclaiming to make us see. Doesn't work at all. So, again, guys, I don't mean to go too long here because I really don't have much to say because not a lot of things happen. Um, okay, it's me. I'll end it. I'll end it really close, really fast by this. What do you want to know? What do you need to have in a story? A protagonist, an antagonist, a plot, uh, something bursting to go into action, and a finale. And with that, with these, we're hoping to find an arc. We find the protagonist at the beginning, and we're supposed to find, in this case, Galadriel. I'm already talking like the show. Galadriel. Galadriel. It's not Galadriel. It's Galadriel. Driel. La 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 la. Yeah, sure. It's like, it's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so in a good story, you want a beginning, a state of neutral state. You want something happening, something, um, some activity, some action, some problem to solve, how the protagonist will fight the evil and solve it, or the quest, or the whatever they have going on, and then the finale, the closure to finish the story. So it's all, that's the arc. It's the minimal. Uh, Anybody does knows this. Anyway, even those who don't study literature or study Tolkien or study film or study writing or anything, it's not hard to say. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to contemplate. It's not hard to prepare, especially when you have the fucking appendices. Eh, And guys, I don't know. Nobody, nobody knows exactly what they have the rights to do, because it seems to be the great divisiveness of this series is, okay, well, they couldn't say this because they didn't have to do that, and they couldn't show us this because they didn't have the right to do this and that, and blah 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 blah. Listen, if you cannot develop a great epic story with what you buy, don't spend $1 billion on it. Because you can say all day, all week, all weekend, and all year that you've spent $1 billion. Yeah, a lot of series spend billions of dollars, but they have craft. The original Lord of the Rings series had people not paid millions of dollars. I remember Weta people, Weta in behind the scenes, Weta animators working day and night, Weta production design, costumes, armor, swords, props, digital design, miniatures design, second unit, third unit camera rolling 24 hours a day with $93 million. And this is all you have to know, because that's where, because we can see from my, and I'll end with this, as I see it, I see three stages. We had the Lord of the Rings trilogy, original, which is on um, undisputed masterpiece. The three original movies are an undisputed masterpiece. Most Oscars ever gained, across the top, masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. The three of them. Then we have the Hobbit movies. They had more money, they had more access to easy um, computer graphics, suffered for it, less good, but still quality. Still have um, not nothing close to the original trilogy, but not the worst thing you can watch. And then you have Rings of Power, which is the worst thing you can watch. because Rings of Power has more money than the other two, and I don't understand. I on paper, it sounds awesome. It sounds great. It's like, what the fuck are we gonna do with Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power? Well, Galadriel, Galadriel will be our protagonist. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, but Galadriel 1,000 years ago. Yeah, sounds like a badass idea. Yeah, okay, okay, go on, go on, go on. And she'll be on the trail of Saurons for centuries. Great. Okay, so we can see her, film her going for centuries, like cutscene, 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 like centuries, and going to the ends of the earth to find Sauron and to fight him, and big action battles, and we can take things from the Silmarillion, and one elf equals a Baelor, and there are massive, epic armies against thousands of Baelors and monsters and demons and gods and valors and anything else all shoved together. And it's like, holy shit, we have 60 million episodes. Easy, we'll do the computer graphics, no problem. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But they didn't do that. They chose to do everything um, filler. They chose to do Galadriel Mary Sue. They chose to do hobbits which are not hobbits, and Gandalf who is not Gandalf, and Sauron who is not Sauron, and Morgoth and everything, without ever giving us the epicness of the true Tolkien legacy. So that's it, guys. If you want true Tolkien legacy, I recommend reading, of course, the original 3 books. I heavily recommend to read the Silmarillion, with another masterpiece. When I read Silmarillion, my jaw was on the floor. I said, why in the fucking hell is nobody adapting this shit? The Silmarillion alone is such. I know it's more of a lore book than a storybook, but still, Jesus fucking Christ. You have rights to the Silmarillion? You got it. Just print it on screen and go fuck off. That's it. That's all you need. J.R. Tolkien did it all for you. What are you complaining about? What are you doubting? Where's your doubt? Where's your, what is it? Why don't you understand? The Silmarillion and the appendices are so much filled with glory and epicness and darkness and failures and wins and humanity and nature and epic fantasy material and lore so rich and so beautiful. It's like, what the fuck are you waiting for? Just adapt these stories to the big screen or the small screen, even if by now the small screen is just like the big screen. We can agree on that. I mean, more people watch Prime, Amazon, or Netflix and go to the movies. I think I'm right on this. So 20 minutes, that seems like a good time to end this. The next episode is dropping tomorrow, so I will do a review on it. But I'm not. That's the thing. If you if you told me 10 years ago that there and again, it's vaguely true because the the knowledge of Amazon buying Lord of the Rings right and doing a series has been in the public space for some years now. So we have a lot of years of anticipation. And now that it's out, the first 2 hours, that's all you did? Really? With with all this money and these resources? Blows my mind. Blows my mind. So that's it. I'm not gonna. I won't waste your time anymore. I mean, I don't recommend watching it. I think it's a waste of time. It was a waste of my time. It has nothing to do with the original trilogy or even the Hobbit trilogy. It has no heart, no soul, no character, no. It has no feeling of awe. awe. I'm sorry, English is not my first language. It has no. It's not epic. It's not. It. When I watch Return of the King, my heart is pumping like crazy madness. When I watch Rings of Power, I'm looking at. I'm doing the dishes or something else more productive. I don't have anything good to say about it. Um, the female actor that plays Galadriel, I won't say she's bad because I think she's good. She could be very great with better material, but it's not the case here. So I think the casting. I can't even go there. Fuck me. I can't even go there. Like Elrond, pass. The Hobbits, pass. The There's no real antagonist. There's no trust. There's no narrative trust, and all of these combined, instead, what are we left with? Not much. So yeah, it's a disgrace. It's a for it. You want the perfect analogy? I'll fucking do it right now. Rings of Power is as Lord of the Rings true as what Matrix Resurrections was Matrix true. If you know me, if you've been watching my channel, I revere two trilogies, best trilogies of all time. Lord of the Rings first, Matrix second. And yes, hate me all you want, I think the Matrix trilogy is a masterpiece. Lord of the Rings is better, but Matrix trilogy is still a masterpiece. And Matrix 4 was a fucking disgrace. It was the worst shit I've ever seen. And that's that's the analogy. That's true of Rings of Power. It's just the worst thing I've ever seen in the comparison to its predecessors. So I'll leave you with that. Nothing else to say. I hope the episode. I'm curious. I'm still curious. That's the worst part of it. I'm still curious to see what they have to offer, but really, guys, if is the September 9th, if the next hour have nothing to offer, I won't be watching or reviewing this anymore. There's no point. They failed. And I don't care if you bring it a battle against a Baylor. I don't care if you. I mean, I would love to see some action. I would love to see anything happen in this fucking series. But for right now, you have zero, zero reasons for me to watch. Except I'm curious. Last chance. See you next week.